Hello everyone, welcome to another Something Bad Thursday, and today I'm going to explore something that I think really does annoy a lot of people and does really bother me, and I think it's a really bad practice among businesses to try to get people to buy their stuff. And this sort of uh, tails under two ends. You have the one end which is sort of the sales calls, and then you have sort of the door-to-door sales. Now, the door-to-door sales are a lot less common nowadays than they have been, I think, within the past. Um, However, there is still an excessive amount of sales calls, and I can guarantee you nobody has ever convinced me ever from a sales call that I should purchase their product or service. Like, I just think it's a very bad method in trying to reach out to people, and I think it ultimately really lacks a success rate because you're reaching out to random people and you're not reaching to the specific demographics or groups of people that would be interested in what you have to offer. So I think that's really something that, again, I think sales could focus more heavily on and trying to get away from those kinds of tactics and really just focus in on doing marketing and having sales that is way more specific, as opposed to just creating this sort of general umbrella into which you just sort of contact people at random. Uh, Again, because it is very lacking as far as generating really any potentially good leads, because you're really shooting for uh, in the dark to see if something will stick, you know. So I think these are annoying for a variety of reasons. One being that they call at really horrible times. Like, they'll call you like late at night when you are just not in the mood to be pitched even a idea of buying something. Like, think about it. Late at night, do you want to go and literally buy something in the middle of the night? Unless maybe you're surfing online to look for something. Do you really want to go and listen to somebody diatribe about this is why you need so and so product? Um, it's a complete waste of time, and I almost feel bad too for the people who have to take on these really stupid jobs, because they really don't end up amounting to really anything, because again, most people do not like these kinds of calls and being sort of targeted without even, really knowing the people that are really calling them. Um, and again, this is also creates a sense of distrust too. Like, as at least with the door-to-door thing, you get a sense of, okay, this person is an actual person. But again, you never know too if, what they are really pitching for is something that is, again, really worth your while or anything. It's all, again, it does, the whole practice seems a little bit more, at least deceptive to me, as opposed to people genuinely trying to reach out to you and wanting to get your business or get what your business is providing. So it's annoying for that reason. It's also annoying when they call you multiple upon multiple times. Like, literally, I cannot tell you how many times there's been the same company that has called. And it is so frustrating because you tell them time and time again, please don't call, because I've already told you I have no use for having this and this what you're offering. You're wasting your time trying to call me and trying to get me to buy this stuff. Like, it's just, it's a waste of time and money. Like, literally, it is a waste of of companies' time and money to be calling these people randomly out of the blue and asking them for stuff. It's ridiculous. So again, uh, it just gets really, really frustrating to have to deal with that kind of a thing. Um, and on top of that, you have to deal with not only them calling you multiple upon multiple times, but um, even if you do participate, let's say you give to a specific organization and you've never received calls from them before, you just reached out to them and gave them money, and then they contact you again and again and again, asking again for more money from you. That's more of a charity thing that they do a lot of times. These charities, they'll contact you over and over again asking you to donate every single month, and it's ridiculous because I'm more likely to give it to a charity that doesn't push me to constantly donate than a charity that constantly pushes me to donate, because I know they're going to be constantly doing it now. And so it's very frustrating. It is just such a bad business practice, and it just annoys the heck out of me, and I just hate getting these calls. And um not only do they sometimes, just call you randomly, they don't even get a real person to even talk to you. They'll get a voice recording telling you about something. And it's such a joke. It's so ridiculous. And you're thinking, really? This is how you're pitching something? You're just using a person's voice to just explain what exactly it is you're offering? Okay, well, that doesn't convince me of anything. Um, and how am I supposed to believe you? And it just makes me want to not even pick up the phone. So, and again, I think there is a tendency now for people to really not pick up the phones anymore when they hear that it's a potential sales call. So again, I think that's just something that's really important to really note. As far as how I think they're really a distraction, and they really do end up impacting the business, I think, more so negatively than in really a positive way. And this is both for the employees that are put in these kinds of positions, and also the door-to-door people as well, and the people that they're even trying to reach out to, who they are ultimately wasting their time. It's both are not benefiting. It's wasting everybody else's time, everybody in the situation's time. What I think is a little annoying about the door-to-door sales is, um, again, sometimes it's about religion. Like, you'll get these people that are from a certain religious group, and they'll come knock on your door wanting you to convert. I never answer those doors. I just let them wait it out, because, again, I am not interested. Again, I think if people were interested in what you were expressing for as a particular group, that you would, go and create a online space, a website, social media, or something, that you wouldn't be spending time trying to get people door to door to convert to whatever. Um, Again, a complete waste of time. Solar is another big thing that's sort of door to door nowadays, and it's also very frustrating to deal with because the person that was ultimately trying to do their job. And again, I almost feel bad for these people who are put in these kinds of really really stupid jobs, to be honest, because you're really not doing anything. You're just trying to pitch stuff all day, and really not going to get anything really out of it. And it just, again, it's a waste of people's time. And if somebody really wants something, they will find you, they will seek you out, and um they will do business with you. I mean, I really think that's really the better approach. um and even if you're, again, reaching out to other people, there's other ways of doing this. Like, I don't think these older style methods of contacting people at inconvenient hours and bombarding them with messages and trying to contact them through the door and being constantly pushy and uh, overly aggressive as far as trying to make the sale is really just really unappealing to me. I always found it really a bad practice, and it is frustrating, especially when you keep telling people you're not on the call list, please don't call. You're just trying to enjoy your time, and you don't want to deal with these people. So again, it's just a practice that I think is dying out, because I do not hear so much of the door salesy stuff anymore, unless it's for something like Girl Scout cookies. And I think things like that obviously are completely innocent and not necessarily designed to be, um, you know, really pushy or anything. They're just having kids going around and uh, asking for donations in exchange for a product. I don't think that's really an issue. It's really when you know that it's you know that it's a business, and they're trying to push as many people to buy into whatever they're buying into. You know, those kinds of really sorts of annoying tactics, um, and constantly hearing phone calls from people to for you to buy stuff. You know, it's frustrating. It's not an enjoyable experience. I think it's a very bad one, to say the least. And um, I think I would rather personally do my own research on something and then go and seek it out by myself, rather than have somebody tell me you need this one thing. Um, or I would rather just have somebody just tell me in a commercial or on an ad somewhere, you know. I would rather just see it in that sense, rather than being constantly bombarded with a person trying to kind of stick their nose at you and try to push it on you constantly. You know, that's what I think makes the whole sales call and the door-to-door thing so kind of intrusive, because they're literally calling you out of the blue. They're literally trying to knock on your door to get you to get business from you. And that, I think, again, it's a little bit invasive, and I think it's good that these kinds of um, tactics of sort of reaching out to people are sort of dying. I'm sort of glad that social media is really taking over, because ultimately on social media you will be able to find people that are ultimately going to want to reach out to you. Um, and that, I think, is a way more effective method, a way more easier method, and again is not as invasive and not as annoying or threatening or pushy as some of these other uh, tactics that are, I think, largely outdated and really don't end up serving a real purpose to anybody, and ultimately end up wasting everybody involved's time. But I think that's really all I can say, though, about this particular topic. I'd be more than happy to hear what anybody else has to say about this, but this is just my honest opinion and me sort of blowing off steam from it, because it annoys me to no end, and I think it's, again, really bad business practice, especially when you tell them specifically not to call you and they call you again, and they push you and push you and push you, and it just shows a certain level of desperation too of the company. It's almost like, okay, if you're this desperate for business, then you're probably not doing too well anyway, and you're probably not as good as a company as you claim to be, if you know you can't get your sales through the door somehow, by offering a good product. You know, I mean, that's also something that I find interesting too. But that's just my thoughts, though. I'd be more than happy, again, to hear what anybody else has to say and their thoughts. But yeah, I think that's really all I can say, though. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care.